Okay. Hey, everybody, this is Adam.
And this is Josh.
Welcome to Engineer vs. Designer,
the podcast.
Now, most of the time, as you know, we come at you with a special guest, and that guest usually has some connection to product design.
But not today.
Nope.
This is actually just a quick little something requested by our friends over at Novedge.
Yeah, they sent us some questions via email.
And we hate typing emails.
Right, so we're responding to their email by squirting sounds through the reed-like membranes in our throat holes.
Okay. Adam.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself and what you do. Do you do anything? I don't know.
I don't do a lot. My name is Adam, after all. I am an industrial designer, which means I design things, pretty much anything that's not a building. I've worked on laptops and power tools and vacuum cleaners and audio gear, a lint roller, a panini maker, coffee makers, blenders, medical lab equipment,
Okay,
toilets,
that's enough.
all that stuff.
Yeah?
And,
Anything else?
I do. I also make about 3 really mediocre websites. Early on, I was torn between engineering and architecture and art, and I chose art, so I got a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Columbus College of Art and Design. I thought I was going to do illustration, and I discovered a field called industrial design while I was there, and that was cool. But I did a lot of fine artsy stuff, a lot of glass blowing, ceramics, and sculpture. And
glass blowing.
Stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Adam is a great illustrator, by the way. He should have stuck with it. Maybe he would have done better than he is now.
All kinds of stick figures. I'm really good at stick figures. What about you, Josh?
Very good. My name is Josh. Did I say that already? I did.
I think we
but
did
it bears
say that,
repeating. Yeah. I am a mechanical engineer turned marketing guru. No, not guru. Just a manager. But I do the marketing for Luxion, makers of Keyshot, and I run the same mediocre websites as Adam does, surprising enough. That's right. I used to design the fancy interiors of those fancy jet planes, the VIP aircraft that the fancy head estates and executives fly around in. So, I used to do that stuff. I originally wanted to be a 44-year-old fire truck driver with handlebar mustaches.
Right.
Multiple mustaches.
That's a good choice. You know, I actually...
Not just one mustache, 2 mustaches.
Yeah.
Or an architect. But, ultimately I was torn between engineering and design in school. Ended up with degrees in both, and here I am today. So that's pretty much it.
Wow, both of them. Well, who or what inspires you, Josh? That's the next question.
I hardly ever am inspired by anything unless I see a very well-made pastry or maybe something made out of shiny blue glass.
That's inspiring.
Yes, that's about it. But really, there's so much art and sculpture and design that just blows my mind. I love seeing the process that goes into making something. Not just the simple inspirational end product, but the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making this stuff. It's a lot of work. So hearing that story,
we're makers, man.
Sharing
it, making stuff.
Yeah, man. The process. That's what.
Yeah, totally. I read a lot. I travel a lot. Go to lots of museums. Play music, whatever. It all goes in the same pot. I just try not to take stuff too seriously and try not to think too far about what I'm doing. Just make stuff and see what happens. Yeah. I'm a big believer that your brain is full of all kinds of ideas. Most of them are really bad, but there are a select few that are probably less bad. And the only way that you know which one is which is to just kind of get them out there and see what happens. At least that's how it works for me.
Get after it. All right, Adam, what is a recent project that you've worked on? Anything?
Ooh.
Anything you can tell us? What you
got?
Well,
so here's the thing. People ask me this all the time. We don't have many publicly available photos or videos that aren't already on SolidSmack, CAD Junkie, or Engineer vs. Designer. And most of what I do professionally for clients around the country is it's all hush hush. Yeah. So it takes a year or two usually before it becomes public, and even then, as a lot of you folks know, it's pretty dicey about when you can show it and when you can't. So the stuff in my portfolio is pretty old for that reason. But definitely check out the sites whenever we do have stuff. I'll try to put it up. So
yes, do check out the sites because we don't have portfolios and our scrapbooking skills are just
Not
way
that good.
too good to make scrapbooks of our projects.
Right.
Bunnies.
I like cutting out little bunnies,
Bunnies
and,
would be
and
good.
chickies and whatever, putting them into books. What
That'll work.
software do you use, Josh? Tell us why.
Yes. Okay. So primarily SolidWorks for modeling, and of course KeyShot for rendering. Right. So that's a
wonder why.
given. I use SolidWorks because it's it's still the most fluid software for product development that I've used.
Yikes. Them's fighting words, man.
yeah,
We got peeps out there that don't agree with that.
Yeah, it helps that I've used it forever, I guess. So
Yeah, I know. I think that's the thing. I mean, what I always say when I go to seminars and stuff is that SolidWorks is a good tool, just like lots of other programs out there, and it's got its strengths and its weaknesses. I think it is the slickest looking one. I'll own that for sure.
Really?
It's the nicest one to use.
You like the pretty stuff, the pretty programs.
No, not just the pretty graphics, but I just think it's the most cohesive interface, which is why I also use SolidWorks for my product design exploits.
What other
but
pretty
also
software?
Modo, Rhino, MOI,
Rhino.
whatever, good stuff. But also, of course, we use Photoshop and Bridge and Illustrator and all that stuff. And
Yep.
And Josh and I use Box.com to
Oh,
share stuff because it's secure.
Sharing
and,
is important.
it's more flexible than Dropbox, etc. But running EVD Media, we have lots of other stuff too that we use. We use Google Apps a lot. We're reading a script from Google Apps right now. We manage our timesheets. We do everything on that. We also have pretty much we use everything that Adobe Creative Suite makes. We use Audition and After Effects and Premiere and Camtasia Studio, which is not Adobe, but it's we use that for video. We have we run WordPress sites, so we do a lot of coding as well for our custom coded sites.
Yep. Asana for keeping it all on track.
Yeah. Crazy.
Good
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. What innovations do you see in your field now or in the future? Anything?
Okay.
Anything?
Well, I started writing myself a little outline of ideas here, and it got big.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit briefer. But frankly, I don't think there is a lot that is new on the near-term horizon. First of all,
Really?
design is design. I think pens and paper are still as relevant as they've ever been. And so is clay. In terms of CAD, though, which is what I figure Novedge probably means when they ask about innovation.
Yep.
I think everybody's still playing catch up using technologies that have been around forever. So, for example, like this whole MakerBot revolution or the 3D printing revolution, MakerBot didn't invent cheap FDM printers. Those have been around forever. I think the bottleneck that's kept people from using them has been that the software was too expensive and too hard to use, and that's kind of changing. So things like SketchUp around 2000, I think, is when it came out, kind of spurred people to start using 3D.
That was a long time ago.
Mass markets a long time ago, but I mean, it's kind of been exponentially growing, right? And I think that even SketchUp, as old and wonky as it is still pretty influential, and that's why I think SketchUp is one of the big reasons why all the big CAD companies are trying to incorporate space claim like direct 3D stuff.
Yep.
And similarly, SubD has been around forever. So have the algorithms that let you convert those to NURBS. It's just that all of a sudden, it's gotten fashionable, and so CAD companies are gradually trying to get these things in there. But anyway.
Yeah. So, I would have to say Tinkercad stands out as a company that's innovating.
Absolutely.
They be innovating up in there.
Majorly.
Really, they are a great example of where the innovation is happening, in my opinion. So a lot of the CAD software is just wrapped up in this mock innovation that comes down to acquisitions and rebranding. Won't name any names, but there's still there's so much coming out on the software side. There's so many features, even in the programs that I use. It's hard to grasp all that. New ways to do something.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I think things are changing, but not. I think the change isn't like you're saying with Tinkercad. The change isn't coming from the big players. It's going to come from the little guys like Tinkercad.
Sure.
And I think like the problem is that the big CAD companies, they all realized a long time ago that the MCAD market is really limited. There's only so many people that are going to be making geometry in CAD packages no matter what. And so all of them rebranded themselves as PLM companies or whatever because they want the bigger chunk of the market. They want the guys in suits buying this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
not just the designers. So really, I think that's meant a change in focus for those companies. So all the big players, whether it's SolidWorks or PTC or Siemens, they're all talking to guys in suits now, and they don't care about the little guys like you and me making stuff anymore. So it's going to take companies like Tinkercad to force them to pay attention to geometry creation.
And then be acquired. But
yeah. Well, right.
As fast as the technology moves, it still seems to crawl right along. I mean, I thought we'd be sculpting with our hands by now, being tracked by our eyeballs. It's still not there. It's still not happening.
It's sad. And, you and I talked about that with Geomagic back in the day before they got acquired, of course. We talked about the idea, it would, with existing technology, as it is now, you could set up a Kinect on your table and have a potter's wheel in front of it and be throwing pottery and in real time see that on your screen overlaid on top of internal components or whatever. I mean, that's all possible right now. It's just that nobody has done that because, again, I blame it on the CAD companies not caring that much about geometry creation. They just care about PLM stuff. So
I think, and then we'll see some more merging of the sort of disparate technologies, like surface and solid modeling, like you said, scanning and 3D printing. That would be great. Motion tracking and modeling, print materials. I think there's going to be a lot of could be a huge explosion in new print materials. Adam, for one, would love to print his ideas in plaid.
I would love that. And I think that's about all we can say on that topic.
Yep. Thanks to Novedge for giving us an excuse to listen to our own voices. Thank you again.
Yeah. And I'm Adam.
I'm Josh. EVD for life.